So, who is this hunter and why is he looking at my trail cam? And is he fixing to do something nefarious? Stay tuned and get the rest of the story. Welcome back to my channel. I have a couple trail cams set up at this saddle during hunting season, and I thought you might enjoy my compilation of the videos that I put together. This guy comes riding by on the 30th of August, 4:54 p.m. 1 hour later, I come by. There I am. Now watch now watch real close. 1 hour later, after this clip, you're going to see an elk run across the road. There he goes, or she goes. And here comes the guy on the mountain bike. I was sitting over off the side here, and when he got about right here, I hollered at or whistled at him. And he stops. And I walked over, talked to him, and just let him know that he had just spooked about 4 or 5 elk that were coming my direction when they heard the whine of his mountain bike. They took off and bolted, and that elk that you saw was the last of the group crossing the road. So we got to talking here, and I noticed he had a Tenzing backpack. And I started asking him questions about it and told him I had a Tenzing fanny pack. And he told me about some of the other backpacks he had, but he said they were just too big and heavy. So he liked them pretty good. And about this point, he asked where I came from, and I told him, well, I'm camped about 600 feet further down the road. He goes, oh, so you're the guy with the ATV parked at the gate? And I says, yes. And he goes, you're not going to bring that, ride your ATV back here, are you? The implication was I would be scaring all the elk. And he seemed to be kind of oblivious to the idea that he had just done that with his mountain bike. Anyway, we went over and looked at my fanny pack because he wanted to see it. And turns out he actually seems to be a pretty nice guy. There I was showing him where the elk had just crossed when they ran. And I was giving him some pointers and where he might want to look for them to go find. And he takes off, and I head back and get my gear. Decided, well, call it a night and head back to camp. Next morning, I decided to go for a walkabout. Did a big old loop around, and it was extremely hot. I was sitting back at camp at lunchtime, and there you see me. I decided at end of the day, 4 o'clock, I needed to get out of there, so I went home for a couple of days. And this is what happens while I was gone. Wanted to get out of the heat for a couple of days, give it a break. Some cows come walking through. And there, that one spots the trail cam and is wondering what's up with that. You can see the trail cam on the tree off to the right there. Another one comes by. By the way, the reason I hadn't had my ATV back there is because they had fire restrictions. Anything behind a locked gate was closed to motor vehicles during the fire restriction. Something is moving my trail cam. What could that be? 12:50 p.m. Oh, a hunter was messing with my trail cam. Don't know who this guy is. Never seen him before. There's me coming back to start hunting again. Packed in a load of supplies to my camp. Unloaded it and came back. Wanted to check my trail cams again. Say unloaded my supplies at camp. Here's about 10 days later, checking my trail cams. There's somebody walking by. 3 hours later, after that guy walks by, this bull comes by. And then 3 hours later, or 4 hours later, after that bull, there I am, screwed to pooch. That bull come by at noon. I was sitting back at camp eating lunch. Okay, that there's uh, Quincy and Tyson. Uh, Quincy's camp was a few miles away. This is the last day of hunting season. Here's this guy. He spots my trail cam off to the right there. He's trying to figure out, what am I going to do here? Looking at it. Then he goes over there, kind of contemplates things for a while. And then he decides to follow the game trail nonchalantly by the trail cam. Watch here. And this is where I'm like, what's he doing? He walks by it and then, sneaks back, sticks his bow up there to try and block the camera lens. Now, watch this view from that trail cam. He walked by, and then he sticks his bow up here, trying to block the lens, and then he's looking at it. And I don't know whether he was checking out the lock on the cam or trying to see the writing. I've got my, there's Quincy and Tyson on their way back that morning on last day's season. And the day after the season, me and my wife heading back to get my camp out of there. Anyway, I'm not sure if the guy was up to no good or not. Maybe he was just curious. There we are hauling the camp back the day after the season. And then the activity starts picking up after season is over. Oh, and when you saw us in there, they released the fire restrictions somewhere around about the 10th or 12th, somewhere in there. And where that bull came running down the road, my ATV was parked at camp. I had pulled it in a few days before that and left it sitting there, so I had access to it. And these animals were still coming by. I just thought I should point that out, that the fire restrictions had been relaxed at that point. Quite a few cows coming through here. There's going to be a spot here where it turns to kind of dark. You'll see a cow come through, and you'll see a bull come chasing after the cow. That one spotted the trail cam again, trying to decide whether it likes it or not. Walks over that way, and then the next clip you'll see it walk over and sniff the camera. Now it's sniffing the camera. Not knowing what to make of that. And she decides she's going to go somewhere else. Started snowing. 30th of September. Lots of cows and calves coming through, but very little in the way of bulls. That one looked at the camera, didn't like it. She's not sure what to think. Says, I'm going this way. Walks right by the other camera, didn't seem to be bothered by it at all. Later that day, that one gets spotted. Walks off. And it starts snowing. This is 11:48, and look what happens 3 hours later. The snow melted that fast. Nice little bowl. Looking down the trail. I still think there was some rutting activity going on at this point. Decides to walk back up the road. Sniffing the camera again. Now that cow went running off probably because of the flash of the camera. But watch real quick. Here comes a screaming bull right after her. Not sure why the camera only picked up that quick shot, but here's a curious spike. All right, so watch 24 hours after this. Voila. It dumped snow big time. But it didn't take long to start melting off. There I am picking up my trail cams. Decided with the weather being too flaky this year, not sure if I could get in there with snow coming and going. So I had to pull all my trail cams out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up and maybe think about subscribing. Peace out.